Grandview family. All right, so today for questions or comments, we actually have a very special video from Amelia from Miss McConey's classroom.
Hi, Mrs. Tweeter. I love those egg videos, and I'm so excited for first grade.
Good. Amelia, I am so glad that you are enjoying the chick videos. There's so much more to come, and you are going to make an amazing addition to our first grade crew next year. Grandview family, we are now at day 19, which is lockdown day, which means after this point, we're not taking pictures, we're not candling, we are not touching the eggs. This is very important because they're preparing themselves to hatch. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the incubator top off. Now, again, this is going to be the last time that we take this incubator top off. Once the eggs start hatching, we'll need to wait 12 to 48 hours after the first egg hatches before we move them into the brooder. We'll talk more about that later. So here I'm going to take off our top. And we have our eggs. All right, so, uh-oh, we already have one starting. Ah! It is starting the pipping process, which means it is trying to get out of that egg. We better work fast. All right, so I need to move all of these eggs out and lay them down. I know, is that cool? And I'm going to take out these pieces, oh, little egg, and lay them down here. I'll wash them later for next time. I have to be super careful with this one because it is working on getting out. Oh goodness, you can see this little shell right here that it's already pipped out. My goodness, I even had my husband double check my math and I thought I was right on target. All right, here we go, the next one. So if you remember from one of our first videos, we were working on making sure that the rotations were good for the eggs, and these were the tools that rotated them back and forth very slowly. So I'm taking those out and the rotations will then be gone. We're going to take out these little pieces here. Oh, you can see them a little moving. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting, happening earlier than I thought. So keeping very, very high humidity is very important during this process because the chicks don't have them, and if there's not a lot of humidity going on, it will dry their membranes and make it very, very difficult for them to hatch or release out of the eggs. In addition, once the eggs start hatching, they will start producing their own moisture or humidity, I should say, and the humidity will naturally go up in the incubator. I think I need a little more for that one. All right, so again, during hatching, very important to increase the humidity. The humidity will naturally increase as more eggs hatch. We're going to go ahead and put the lid on. And we are not going to move these eggs or do anything with them other than trying to do our very best to video some changes that are happening until most of the little chicks are dried out, and then we'll put them in the brooder. So tomorrow we're going to get the next one set up, but I'm guessing on my math maybe we should do it today. I'm not quite sure. Next thing I need to do is these chicks are starting through the process of pipping and hatching, and I need to get their brooding area set up. Now, normally in a brooding area it would be a specific room on a farm, or in the classroom what we do is we section off a piece of the classroom for it to happen. Because of the whole COVID-19 thing, we're going to have to kind of switch things up, and I was trying to pick the safest room in our house, and I picked this room. Number one, because there's ventilation. Once the chicks start hatching, they get stinky. Number two, there is a door. This is a very exciting pick. through the master bath that goes to the master bed. So any animals, and we do have 2 dogs, and we have 1 cat that's an excellent at catching prey, and we do not want her to get into this room. So we thought this would provide double safety. And so instead of a typical brooding station, what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna hatch chicks in the bathtub. Now, Mrs. Tweeter will be setting up the bathtub so that it is set up properly for brooding and taking care of the chicks. So from now on, any videos we have will be in this area with the ventilation, with the baby chicks, and the brooding station. Today we had a bit of a surprise when we were moving our eggs from the rotation device onto the normal floor. We had one that was actually starting to pip, which is really exciting. So now we're going to go ahead and do the second one. We're going to go ahead and take it off the lid. And we're going to go ahead and move the eggs. Inside of the incubator and lay them down because they no longer need to be rotated. In fact, it's extremely important that at this point or after this point, they are no longer moved at all. We want to disturb them as little as possible, so I'm trying to be as gentle as I can during this process. You need absolute moisture to be able to hatch properly. And again, once they start hatching, they will start producing their own moisture for the rest of the eggs.
Now we are coming up on days 20 and 21, so let the pipping begin. The egg hasn't been candled now for 3 days in order to allow the chick to move into proper position for hatching. So the first outward sign we're going to see is a tiny crack on the surface of the eggshell. So then ask yourself, is there going to be a chick? Not often as quickly as that. Imagine if you were a chick. You've been sitting quite comfortably in your egg for the past 3 weeks when suddenly you have to do some very hard work. It's a tiring process and there will be a lot of rest periods before it finally hatches. The average length of time between pipping and a chick hatching is between 12 and 18 hours, in some cases longer. On day 20, the yolk finishes being absorbed fully into the chick. This is what makes it possible for hatchlings to be able to survive without food or water for several hours. The beak is poised to start pecking through the shell, and apart from the air cell, the embryo is completely filling the egg. If all is going to plan, the chick now begins to do some serious pipping or breaking through. It uses its wing as a guide and its legs to propel, working in a circular motion to create a hole which is eventually large enough for it to squeeze its legs through and push. So on day 21, for the most part, it's hatch day, although some chicks hold on and don't hatch exactly on time. Here we have a picture of a chick nearly there. Watching this final stage of the chick hatching is fascinating. She won't necessarily unzip any farther, but she will use her body and her legs to push the shell apart. And then the baby chick is hatched. Now, when they are hatched, they don't come out fluffy and cute. They come out wet and completely awkward. They have difficulty standing, holding their head up, and often lay down for a long period of time because they just did a lot of work. They stay in the incubator for at least 24 hours to dry off and to get some of their energy back. By the time they come out of the incubator and go into the brooder, they look like the fluffy chicks we all know and love.